Hi everyone, Pastor Steve here with a question. What would your life be like without your faith in God? I think Solomon tried to answer this in the book of Ecclesiastes, where he puts in many times there that all is vanity and it's an emptiness, it's a chasing after the wind, it's like trying to grab smoke, and no matter what the externals of life are, they don't bring that inner satisfaction or contentment when you're trying to find life, or happiness or peace without God. In the last part of the book, in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 to 14, he actually says that the whole duty of man is to fear God and keep his commandments. And this is where we find why we're on this earth, and we find meaning and we find purpose. And so in a way, that's part of my answer to that question. From time to time, people might ask you a similar question to that. What's your life like if you didn't have your faith, if you didn't have belief in God? What difference would it make? For me, before I had faith in God, in the sense of believing faith and I became a Christian, life was empty. I did a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have done. I did a lot of bad things that I wouldn't have done maybe if I had that faith in God from an early age. So in a very real way, my life without faith in God would have been darker, would have been more empty, and I would think would have been more destructive. And though I'm not a perfect man by any means, I think I would have been a much harder man, or a more difficult man, or a more angry man, maybe more depressed or unhappy. All of those things, without faith in God, that would have all been my life at some level in a deeper way. So having faith in God has made life more centred, more balanced. It's given me meaning. It's answered the big questions of life too. It's taken away fear. Like I now know that, okay, we're on this earth to follow God, we're on this earth to learn and to worship Him, and it's given me my life's purpose, but it's also given me answers to what happens after we die. I know that that the grave is not the end, that there is life to come. Big questions like that. There are so many differences that having faith in God do for us, and I think it gives us perimeters and boundaries, and it gives us guidelines to live by, and it's what gets people up in the morning often. Some people get up in the morning and they don't really know. It's just ho-hum, it's just routine. Ho-hum, I'm going to do the same thing again. But what's it all about? When you have faith in God, you have the broader picture of what life's about. Sure, you may have days where you're down and out and you feel a bit like, oh, what's life about? But deep down, it's about God, and it's about what His purposes are, and it's about finding meaning in Him. Without faith, I wouldn't be as alive as what I am. I consider myself to have a lot of energy, a lot of happiness in my life generally. I enjoy life. I love life. I couldn't always say that before I had faith in God. I had good times as a non-believer. I grew up in Australia. I always had a roof over my head. I always had food on the table, clothes to wear, a bed to sleep in. I had parents that loved me, and other things besides, all the blessings that we have in Australia. But none of those things gave me meaning, and none of those things stopped me from doing things I shouldn't be doing. It was only when I got faith in God and belief in God that those things sort of fell into place, and I became a better person. So without faith in God, for me, life would be much different. It wouldn't be a better version of me. So I praise God for that. I hope that that's helpful to you and encourages you. Having faith in God, it's worth it. God bless. I'm Pastor Steve.